Hello, Brigadiers and Brigadettes and hockey fans alike. This is your captain speaking. Welcome to my channel. Now let's jump into some hockey content. Hello everybody, we are continuing on with our series and today we're talking about the Washington Capitals. I'm going to be honest, this team, at first I was thinking there wasn't a lot I could talk about, but the more I got into it, the more I thought 3 questions wasn't enough, which was pretty cool. At first I was like, I don't even know outside of a question or two what I could ask, but it really did go farther than what I expected. I just want to let you know this video was recorded on the 9th and will be put out the 11th, so if there's anything big that happens in that time, please let me know. Thank you for your support, and then if you have not subscribed, please subscribe, and then turn on the little bell notification to see when I upload videos. That is always appreciated. And then one more thing I did want to say is I actually bought a new lighting system. It's not here yet, but you won't have to look at this and then think, wow, the lighting is really bad, because a lot of it just depends on what the sunlight looks like coming from our apartment. So thank you very much to my wife for getting me the lighting system so I can look, I guess, a little bit more professional. Now we're just going to jump on into the first question, and the first question is the Capitals' contention window closed? The Capitals are a lot like the Penguins due to the fact that they've both been in the playoffs consistently, and they've both been really great teams over the years. The only difference is the Penguins got way more results than the Capitals. The Capitals aren't viewed like the Penguins just due to the fact that they would always unravel in the playoffs, which included 3 first-round exits and 6 second-round exits in overtime in the nation's capital. However, after losing 3 straight seasons in the second round, they finally broke through and beat the Vegas Golden Knights to win their first ever Stanley Cup. Washington had 2 President's Trophies in the past 4 years. In the past 2 seasons, they finished 4th and 5th in the league. However, both years they've been knocked out of the first round. Todd Reirden, the head coach of the Washington Capitals in that time, lost his job, and I think a lot of that had to do with how they played against the Islanders. It did not go well. They got embarrassed, if I'm being completely honest with you. And, really just with Todd, it was a similar story where they would, kill teams in the regular season, and then once the playoffs rolled around, the Capitals just would get knocked out. They lost to Carolina. That was a good team, not going to lie there. A good young team that made it to the conference finals that year. But then the Islanders, I do think that even though they probably would have lost, in my eyes, they should have put up a way better fight instead of getting beaten 5. Really, the 2 things that I think are going to have to change in order for this team to turn it around is they're going to have to take less penalties. They were second in the league in the most penalty minutes. And yes, I do know the penalty kill is really good for the Capitals. It was like top 5 in percentage. So yes, that's obviously a good thing. But at the end of the day, when you are, fending off the other team in your own end, the second most in the league, it's probably a good idea to lower that. And then, really there's just no reason to be second in the league for penalty minutes. And then the goaltending has to improve. Last year, the Capitals had the 4th worst save percentage in the league. And while that can basically all be attributed to Braden Holtby with his .897 save percentage, they still need to worry about their goalies. The team will be relying on 23-year-old Ilya Samsonov and 24-year-old, I'm not sure how to say this, so I probably will butcher it, my apologies, Vitek Vanacek. And while both were drafted high by the Capitals, Samsonov in the first round of the 2015 draft and Vanacek in the second round of the 2014 draft, they're both still young goalies, and, there tends to be consistency issues with younger goalies. I don't think that it is completely impossible for Washington to win another cup, but every year they don't. I think it's more unlikely due to their aging core. So I'm not going to say that the window is closed, but I think that it's barely open, like the door is barely ajar. Now, the second question is, can Samsonov take over a net after Holtby's departure? Goalies are never usually expected to fill such massive holes left by franchise icons at such a young age, but the 23-year-old Samsonov is going to have to live up to his draft stock after the former Vezina winner Braden Holtby departed Washington after 10 seasons with the only team he's ever known. Really, it just came down to Holtby couldn't stop the puck, and I'm not going to say that my expectations are super high in Vancouver for Holtby, but it is interesting to see how that'll play out. But yeah, Washington really just could not justify re-signing him. Samsonov had a good rookie season, his last in his last season this past year. His stats were a 16-6-2 record, 2.55 goals against average, a .913 save percentage with 1 shutout. While it was only 26 games and he did show that in a limited role, he could do some things and produce. I want to see what he can do, not as a backup, but as a starter. The problem is, they brought in Henrik Lundqvist to be the backup, and in my eyes, mentor Samsonov, but unfortunately Hank had a heart procedure, so he probably won't be involved in anything for the Capitals this season. I just really can't see them letting him with COVID and all that come on over and, be like an assistant coach or something like that. I know he wouldn't be an actual assistant coach, but with the knowledge he has, you know what I'm saying? Luckily for Samsonov, this team is actually pretty good defensively, as they had the 6th best Corsi, 6th fewest shots against, and I believe the 11th fewest scoring chances against. And with the team being in such a hard division this year, they probably should be better off sacrificing some of their offensive game, focusing more on the defensive side. Boston's in the division. They finished 8th in goals for last year. Philadelphia is in the division. They finished 7th in goals for. The Rangers are in the division. They finished 5th in goals for. And then the Penguins are in the division. They finished 13th for goals for. So just from those 4 teams, you can see that the Capitals will be busy containing these teams. And I expect the Sabres, they got Hall, they got Stahl. They made some additions. The Devils, Hughes will probably take another step. And the Islanders, obviously, are probably going to be better with some of the moves they made. And so those teams will probably be better scoring-wise as well. I have faith in Ilya, but at the end of the day, the team and himself are going to have to focus more on the defensive side of the game, I think, if they want to snag a playoff spot in such a tough division. Oh, I just hit my mic. I apologize. And then the third and final question will be, is Ovi going to leave? Alex Ovechkin has spent his entire 15 career with Washington, 15 career season, and after this season, his contract will expire. I don't think that Ovechkin would sign with another team, but let's just talk about it. There's been multiple lockouts and injury-shortened seasons. Or not shortened seasons because of injury for him, but just shortened seasons because of lockouts and all that stuff. The Great Eight's career has obviously been, at this point, chasing Wayne Gretzky for the goal record. And at this point, maybe he could consider it untouchable, that he doesn't want to play another 6-7 years. So let's just say that he decides to leave the NHL and play in the KHL. Now, I know that's unlikely, but again, let's say negotiations become a hassle and he's fed up with the process and he just wants to go back to Dynamo Moscow. I actually did a video on this. I'll make sure to leave it on the screen, probably up here somewhere, so you can watch it if you want. Please watch after this video so my watch time doesn't go down, but again, you can find it there. And in that video, I talked about how Ovechkin stated he wanted to play in the KHL again and will finish his career with Dynamo Moscow, so that should be interesting. I personally don't think that he will leave. I think he will sign an extension with the Capitals by the end of next offseason to give him there probably at least 2 more years, maybe more. It seems like he wants to play 4 to 5 years in the NHL. It's just obviously things are really changing with COVID and all that. Maybe it gets to the point where it feels like it is impossible to break the Great One's scoring record. But if anybody would break it, it's going to be Ovi. He's been one of my favorite players ever since I've been a kid. I've never really been a Capitals fan, but Alex Ovechkin, I mean, he is just a really incredible player to watch. And, when I get older, I probably will tell, whoever, I'll be an old man just going on about how Alex Ovechkin's the greatest scorer of all time from my generation. Again, I do not think that the Capitals will let Ovi leave and go to the KHL or even another team. That would be insane. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. But also, understand I am definitely saying that Ovi will not leave in my eyes to go to another team or play in the KHL. So just understand that before you go in the comments and say that I'm an idiot. Anyway, that's going to wrap up the video for today. I had a great time talking about this. You guys have a great day and you stay safe from COVID, alright? Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes, and hockey fans in general. This is your captain signing off. Have a great week.